Today I'm going to be doing my worst books of 2019.
Coolsville sucks.
What you call an icon living? Puerto Rican little mistress just did it. 9 love over 5 minutes. Whoa, me up too hot in the place.
So sorry if this camera angle is like a little weird. I just got a new ring light and it's a lot different than my previous ring light. Today I'm giving the Little Mermaid vibe. So the first book on this list is like the first book I actually like own physically, and that is The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that, but I wanted to film a complete rant review on this video. Like, I didn't like it that much. So it's about these two wives, and the old wife is stalking the new wife basically, and I didn't really like this. Like, the plot twist was revealed way too early for me, and it was revealed like halfway through the book. There was another plot twist at the end that I literally did not care about. There's a lot of other points that I didn't like in this book that I want to talk about in my rant review, but I ended up deleting it. But yeah, I just did not care for this. I'm more of a plot twist person, I find. Like, if the plot twist is good, like I read Lock Every Door and the plot twist on there I didn't care about. Like, I liked the story, I just didn't care about the plot twist. So I'm a very plot twist person. I have to like the plot twist. Like, no matter how good the plot twist is, I have to like the plot twist in order for me to enjoy the book. So the next book on this list is Again But Better, and I actually have a rant review on this book if you want to see. It's one of my like rant reviews that actually did pretty well. But yeah, I read this earlier this year and I just didn't like it. I had a lot of problems with it. It had a huge cheating trope. And if you didn't know, this book was written by Christine over at Pauline and Banana Books, and I just want to preface and say I have no problem with her actually, but I just felt like the book could have been written better. And I feel like the book was written her life, but like fictional. It's a contemporary book, but it has like magical elements to it, and it reminded me of 17 Again, which I thought I would like, but I really didn't like how it was written in this book. And the thing that irritated me the most was she had a fiance and he had a fiance. She wanted to break up with her fiance, but she never did. So I know that she didn't really care about him and she wanted to break up with him, but she just never got the chance to. But it's like, why are you going after this guy and you still have a fiance and he has a girlfriend? And she literally kept trying to, like, his girlfriend wasn't a bad person, but she kept trying to convince herself that the girlfriend was. And like, even if the person, you know, that you like is dating someone and they're not a good person, doesn't mean that it gives you an excuse to try and ruin their relationship and steal her man's. Like, you know, I am not for man stealing. Like, we don't do that. Next book I have on this list is Restore Me and the rest of the books after Restore Me, which I think is just Destroy Me. But this year I read the Shatter Me series. I read the entire series up until Destroy Me in 2 days, even the novellas. Like, girls, I was binging this book, okay? Like, I was loving it. It was so like 2000 whenever it came out. I'm gonna say 2012. It probably didn't come out in 2012, but I'm gonna say it did. You know, it had that very feel to it. Like, it was very like new. I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. If you don't know what Shatter Me series is about, it's about this girl who is locked in jail for a very long time, and they end up like, she has powers and end up trying to use her for her powers, and you know, it ensues from there. And I really wanted to enjoy this book. I actually really liked the first 3 books. It was supposed to be just left at 3 books, but then the author got to pick it up for 3 more books. And I feel like she should have just left it at the first 3, because the next 2 read like a terrible fan fiction written by a 10-year-old. I feel like my 11-year-old brother could have written something better than that. No offense to Tahira Mafi, but I just feel like it didn't need to be continued. And I just think that some books are better left alone, and just because you can continue a series doesn't mean that you should. And if they were going to do a spin-off, then they should have done one based off another character in the series and not continued on with the same tired love story. Next book I have in the series is Defy and the rest of the series. If you don't know, I am a huge dark romance series, and the series I'm referring to is the Sinners of Saints series, which the first book will be Vicious, which I read and I loved. Every book following after that I absolutely hated, including Defy. Defy was the novella before Vicious, and I hated it. It was about a teacher-student relationship, and I absolutely hated everything about the book. The characters didn't seem to have chemistry. I hated the fact that he was dating his teacher. Like, I can understand if like you're in college and you date your professor, like I get that, but I didn't like it in Pretty Little Liars, and I don't like it here. I hate when even if you're 18 and you're of age, I don't think that it's right to be with your teacher. It's absolutely disgusting. Please stop the teacher-student trope if they're not gonna at least be in college, okay? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. The next book I have on this list is 99% Mine. I honestly don't even remember what this book was about, but it was written by the same author who wrote The Hating Game, which I loved. It didn't make my favorites list of 2019 because I didn't love it that much. I think 99% Mine was just this girl who had a crush on her older brother's best friend, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I remember I had just read Fix Her Up, which I loved. Fix Her Up was one of my top reads of 2019, so I'm really into that brother's best friend trope. I used to love it in my Wattpad days. I just feel like the main character was a terrible person, and that says a lot coming from me because I pretty much tolerate anything when it comes to reading, but she was just a terrible person. And I'm pretty sure the main character, the guy, had a girlfriend, and like I said, I hate cheating in books. I feel like it's unnecessary. You know, if you want the characters to like want to be together but they can't be together, don't make it to where they can't be together because one of them is in a relationship. Like, I hate that. Just don't even do it. The next book I have on this list is Interview with the Vampire. I recently watched this and read the book for Halloween this year, and I love the movie. Oh my gosh, the movie was the most sexually intense movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, it wasn't very sexual, but at the same time it was extremely sexual. Like, I'm glad I didn't watch this movie as a kid because it was a very intense movie and I loved it. Also, Brad Pitt, oh my gosh, we love Brad Pitt, especially back in the day. Tom Cruise back in the day, oh my gosh, it was amazing. But the book was so boring. Even when I watched the movie, I was like, yeah, this movie as a book would just be terribly boring because it's literally just him talking about his life, and it was only good because it was in movie form, you know? But in book form, it was so boring. I fell asleep. Ugh, it was so boring. Oh my gosh. So the next two books I have on this list are probably be a surprise, but if you're paying attention to my bookshelf behind me, then no, it's not. But that would be The Assassin's Blade and The Hair of Fire. If you don't know, last year I read the Throne of Glass series for the first time, and I actually was not enjoying it. I hated Assassin's Blade. Like, I thought it was so boring. I don't think that everyone was like, oh, you need to read Assassin's Blade before you continue the series and blah 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 blah. Like, I hate when people tell you that you need to read novellas. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. First of all, let's start there. I hate when people tell you that you need to read novellas in order to understand a series, because you really don't. Like, all this stuff that happened was really easy to pick up on without having read the novella. But I do appreciate how the novella is in like a book form, like to own, and like she just put all the novellas into one book. Like, I really like how she did that, and I actually like the cover to this. And then Hair of Fire, I hated Rowan when I first met him. Like, y'all, he literally bit her. He bit her, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, y'all, he bit her. And yes, it was in order for her to like do whatever she had to do, but he didn't need to bite her, you know? It just was not uncalled. It was just uncalled for. Which is ironic because Queen of Shadows ended up being my favorite book of the year. So it's very funny how I hated Air of Fire, but I absolutely loved Queen of Shadows. Like, that is very ironic to me. The next book I have on this list, Sage and Storm and Ruin and Rising. Shadow and Bone, low-key, isn't on this list because I actually really enjoyed Shadow and Bone. Like, when I was reading this, I was like, why does everybody hate this series so much? Like, this series is so good. And then I read Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising, and I was like, that explains it. That explains everything. I didn't like these books. I can't really talk about them because these are books in a series and they're not the first books, but I did not like these books. This book, most definitely, I did not like, okay? I didn't like the ending. I didn't like how they did the Darkling. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. The next book I have on this list is Sweet Filthy Boy, and this is by Christina Lauren. So after I read The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, which was one of my favorite books of 2019, I decided to let me give Christina Lauren a chance because they could become my favorite authors. But no, I hate it. I read Sweet Filthy Boy and I thought I was gonna love it because I was really into reading fake married tropes, but this one, they like weren't really fake married. Like, they literally just had a drunken night and they ended up getting married one night. And I read the whole series and I just didn't care because I felt like the whole entire series was very repetitive and there was not really hate to love. There was hate to love in like either the second or third story, but I can't do pure romance without banter or hate to love, or both. I need some type of banter, I need some type of hate, like I need something in it, and Sweet Filthy Boy just did not have what I wanted. And the next book I have is Beautiful Bastard by Christina Lauren, and I absolutely hated this book because I felt like this book, they had no relationship. Like all they did was argue and mess around with each other, and they would be like, they would do it in public and they'd be like, we're not doing this in public anymore, and then like they would do it in public again. And I felt like they had no relationship, like they didn't get to know each other really, and it just, there was nothing in the foundation. But the last book on this list, The Chalkman, I absolutely hated The Chalkman. I felt like The Chalkman was literally trying to be like it, but like new school, and I really didn't enjoy that. Like they literally had the one redhead girl, they had this entity that, you know, nobody, like everyone was afraid of, and they had this one main character who went through something traumatic, and I just feel like, and then they had the bullies, and then they had like a freaking rock war basically, which is my favorite part in the It movie. It just felt too much like it, even though I've never read the book, I haven't finished the book, but it just felt way too much like the movie, and I did not like that. Like I hated that, like that, no. So yeah, that is it for this video. Let me know if you're tired of seeing these videos, because I still have a lot more, you know, videos themed for this for the rest of January. I still want to do an anticipated reads list. I still want to do a 20 books to read in 2020. I still have to do my most disappointing books, because there are a lot of books. I read a lot of books this year, so there are a lot of books that were like in the middle, like that I didn't hate but like I expected more out of. And then I also have a 10 books of the decade video that I want to do eventually, but I feel like I can do that at any point in the year. But yeah, I have a lot of like more, you know, themed videos that I want to do. So that is it for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you feel about this quality. Like, what do you think about this angle? I couldn't get the angle exactly how I wanted it to. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.